Yesterday and today we were doing extra shows. Maybe we can't get everybody in here, and then we'll go do some more shows here at another place throughout the state of Ohio. I want to thank each and every one of you for building the zoo here. And I say that because a lot of you come up to me and say, boy, Jack, thanks a lot for building the zoo, for being here for 35 years. That's humbling to me. Yes, it is. But more than that, everyone, I did not build the zoo. We were very lucky when they got here in 1978. And I came here. Some of you know the story, some of you don't. Our daughter Julie had a very bad form of leukemia and cancer at St. Jude Hospital. And so we had to find a hospital to go to that would treat her cancer, which there weren't many in this country. And so because the Nationwide Children's Hospital, it just so happens, the zoo was looking for a zoo director. So you talk about fate, everybody. That's how I got to Columbus, Ohio in 1978. It's amazing that what you guys have given me is not only my daughter, but you built the number one zoo in the country. I say you, Franklin County, Central Ohio, all those that know maybe from out of state, even you, these folks that live in Central Ohio, Franklin County, have had levies since 1985. And every single penny you guys have voted for is going into this zoo. Not one dime is going otherwise as far as building all the new things you see here. When you see Africa opening up, all of you will not believe what you're going to see. The next dream I've had, I should keep my mouth shut because the first group I've said it to, is to bring the giant pandas back from China here. One last dream and I'm gone is Bigfoot. I've been looking for him for 12 years. I went to Nepal. Now, I'm not necessarily a believer, I'm not kind of being funny, I'm not, but I was in Nepal filming in the jungles, right down the jungles, right? And I got through filming, I went to Kathmandu. Kathmandu is about 6,000 feet. And this guy comes up to me and goes, Mr. Hannah, I know where Bigfoot is. He said, I swear, I'll take a helicopter, we got to go about 13,000 feet. I said, well, I'm not too bright about flying, but I don't think helicopters do well at 13,000 feet. He said, no, we'll go to 12,000 and walk. I said, okay. So I postponed something, took my film crew up there, and I'm going to tell you something, because people always ask me, what's the most fascinating place in the world? Yes, North Pole, South Pole, down the ocean. It was last week, I was 600 feet in the ocean filming. But this was something everyone, you saw Indiana Jones, a lot of you. But I'll tell you something. When I went up there, it was just exactly like the movie. Real foggy and damp and cold, and the prayer flags, and the buildings all made out of stone, and the people that don't even hardly see anybody up there, much less a person like myself. And the guy told me that he had Bigfoot's hands in a box at like a building down below where I was. But I found out that he was crazy. So I knew I got altitude sickness real bad. And I didn't even get out of that place. So I'm done looking for Bigfoot. That was a joke. I'm not going to find Bigfoot. But the Loch Ness Monster will be in the pond. That's this first animal, everybody. This is a Homo sapien. She's a female Homo sapien, about 5'10". You guys hear the house name? No, just kidding. What is that? What kind of animal is it? Marsupial, yes. So a lot of you, what does marsupial mean, everyone? We only have one in this country, all right? What is that? A possum. Australia has over 200 marsupials. We have more than a possum. Now, you see how tall he is? Guess how big that animal will get when he's full grown. These kangaroos can get up to here when they stand up. The gray and the red kangaroo. Yes, there's an animal called a wallaby, which is a kangaroo, by the way. They can only get this big. And there are different types of kangaroos, by the way. When you see them hop, they can hop, they go speeds up to 40 miles an hour. They can hop 30 feet at a time. You see the tail there? Look what's that used for. It's used for balance. When he does eat, like up in the trees or whatever, or eat limbs, he puts his tail there for balance. He holds his food sometimes with his hand. These are not trained things. Yes, they're trained, but these are behaviors they actually use in the wild as well. Now, pick the marsupial, everybody. A lot of people don't know this. The kangaroos, let's give you an example here. When the marsupial is born, everyone, they're born the size of your fingernail. Picture this big thing, a kangaroo, right? Looking like a worm, the size of a jelly bean. It's amazing birth in nature. What happens is, this little jelly bean comes out of the birth canal, right? And then guess what it does? It crawls on the outside of the stomach, crawls on the outside, up into the pouch. It takes about a half hour. Over half of them in nature never even make that. Obviously, she hops and falls off of the ground and that's it. But when it does get in there, it attaches to the breast, which swells around his mouth. He stays there up to 6 to 8 months. The possum, when it has 10 to 12 babies, they get on the mom's back in less than 2 weeks, and those same possums can breed again at less than a year old. It's amazing how quick the possum develops. That's why there's so many possums. The kangaroo, though, lives in when you have a herd of cattle or a flock of geese, what do you call a big group of kangaroos? A mob. So what you call them. This animal also, look at his back foot. Some of you that, down here maybe see it too. The back foot, that black thing, on the end of that is a claw. Now this is a young kangaroo. The claw gets to be 4 to 6 inches long. If a dingo or a dog were to corner a wild kangaroo, they only have one choice, they can't run. They sit there like this, and they kick out with their back leg like that, quicker than you can blink your eye. I can't tell you the speed. And obviously, that whatever they're kicking like a dingo or a dog is no longer there. 2 years ago, 3 years, whatever, 2 guys were out partying in Australia. They tried to corner a wild kangaroo. As a result of that, one guy's not here anymore. Because I don't need those kids in here, obviously kicked out when the party was over. So that is an animal you have to be very careful of in the wild. Not that you, I don't need to be careful of. They'll never happen. You only have one time in history. Here we have a kangaroo walkabout. Who all done it here? Who's been in the kangaroo walkabout? Quite a few of you. Why do you haven't? Leave here today, go down the other side of the river and walk in with the kangaroos. I'm serious. It's really a neat thing to be right in there with them walking around. It's a beautiful animal, marsupial. Hop along. Thank you so much. Hop along the kangaroo. Thank you.
There she is. Pick it up and carry it off.
Did you see how it put its tail down to move its
Make sure you're back if you went to the 4 o'clock show, everybody. On the Penton.
Whoa. Nice.
Okay, here we go. Don't anybody panic. Last show, this bird took off and it landed on man's head over there. I swear. Over there. But don't worry, it ain't gonna hurt you, okay? How many of you saw the movie The Birds? Act like you didn't see it. This is a macaw parrot, everyone. A macaw parrot. This bird can live to be 100 years old. It is not a bird you want as a pet, all right? That beak can take your finger off and spit and bite. Some people, like my wife and I back in the 70s, we raised macaw parrots. Some of you, not some of you, I bet there's not one person here who's raised a macaw parrot. If you have, you do a good job. Do not get this as a pet. They live a long time. They can be very dangerous to beak. And also, they can tear your house apart in 2 hours. I had 2 of them get loose from my house in Tennessee. I was gone 6 or 8 hours. I came back, the chairs were destroyed, the wall. They love to chew wood. And they'll eat your house down when they turn out. This animal, again, is one that is in flocks of 50 to 1,000 in Central and South America. You don't see many flocks that big anymore because the animal has been hunted for its feathers and also for food in certain parts. You have the scarlet macaw, the blue and gold macaw, and the highest of the macaws is the jet blue, very rare animal. Thank goodness that land on somebody's head again.
That would be funny to land it on my head.
Yesterday he took off. He went right through that opening there and went over there somewhere. They come flying back through here. But that's a beautiful bird, everyone. Also, smuggling of birds is the 2nd largest smuggling in our country. Drugs is #1, smuggling of exotic birds is #2. If you're going to get a parrot, or somebody who might have children that can't around here, dogs or cats, that's okay if it's raised here. But don't dare go out and try and buy one unless they have papers, because the 2nd largest smuggling is birds in this country right now. This next animal, these are everybody. Some of you might be saying, "Oh, this is just an otter." Look at it closely, everyone. This animal is extinct in the wild. You know what I just said? Gone. This animal does real well now today in zoos and aquariums. Like SeaWorld were some of the first people to bring this. When we knew they were going down the tubes, they brought them into SeaWorld. Now several zoos throughout the country are now breeding. American Zoo and Aquarium Association, we have what we call SSP, the Species Survival Plan, which means now we're breeding this animal very good now, and starting to gently, slowly introduce this back in the wild. But